everybody? Welcome to Roundtable Live for October 21st, 2016. I'm Bear Taffy, joined by Mathis Games, Rock Lee, Smile, Northern Lion, and for the very first time, special guest Elspeth is on the show. Hi, how are you? Oh, God, you're muted. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That was my mime impression. Really good at mime impressions, like super good. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Sorry.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to have you. Elspeth joining us. She is a streamer on Twitch here. Also a member of Main Menu, Nick and I's Twitch team. Very glad you could join us. On the docket for today's show, we've got the Nintendo Switch, something that Elspeth is actually very excited about, I hear.
I saw it and I was like jumping up around in my room. My sister was like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" I'm like, "Yes! Look at this! Look at how cool this looks."
We're not gonna get along.
I know. I'm so excited about that.
Continue.
Elise was telling me that if you two don't get in like a near physical fist fight during today's show, she's gonna be real disappointed. Rockstar announces Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. We don't know a ton about it, but the fact that it exists is certainly exciting. Hello Neighbor, new survival indie horror game from Tiny Build. We're going to talk about the game as well as a little bit of what Tiny Build has been doing with the promotion and publishing of this one. The Hearthstone Heroic Brawl has drawn some ire from the Blizzard faithful, and we'll explain more about that a little later on today.
Yes, we will.
Oh, yeah.
We will.
Paper Mario Color Splash, the one that we didn't get to last week. Luckily, we've got another voice on that today as well. Accounting, the new VR game from Squanch, Tendo, and Crows. You may know them by their common names, Jace... What's that?
These names.
I know.
And crows.
Well, like the people behind them are actually like really fitting for the names themselves. Justin Roiland, creator of Rick and Morty, and then William Pugh. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, William, but that's the man behind the Stanley Parable as well. So they got together and they created a VR experience that is pretty awesome. Nick is going to be telling us about Dragon Quest Builders, a game that came out on the PlayStation 4 earlier this year.
Correct.
That's right. Also, the Jackbox Party Pack 3, primarily Espionage and Murder Trivia Party, the new entries to that expansion. And then maybe a little bit of Civ 6. We'll probably talk more in depth about that next week once we've all had some time to dilly and dally through it. To start, though, a little bit better of a docket, I think, this week than we had last week, where we basically had literally one news story that we were rocking in.
That's because I'm here.
Yeah, the news comes with you, man.
Thank you, Ryan, for coming back. I hope you enjoy vacation next week when you're gone again. Good one.
The Nintendo Switch has been announced, formerly known as the NX. The Switch is here, and it's probably left us with more questions than we had before we knew what it even was. So we get the trailer, about 3 minutes worth of basically PR footage showing the new functionality of the system. Basically, I don't want to reduce it too much because, again, we still don't know too much about it. But it's effectively a 3DS that you can dock and then play at home. So, you know, I think this is addressing one of the core issues that people had, which was the split of the attention between the 3DS and the Wii U that Nintendo, at least first-party wise, has had to deal with. You know, like the core audiences for both are pretty large, so they had to split their attention a bit. But now with the Switch, ideally, that is no longer going to be a problem. There's a lot of other factors at play too, but I mostly want to get first impressions from you guys. And to make things fair, we're going to start with Elspeth, and then we'll come into the criticism corner a little bit later on.
Wait. What does that mean? What does that mean? You're gonna start with Elspeth?
No. I want to.
Like in this corner we have.
I mean, you're not wrong. Let's duke it out. Let's hear your thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the fact that what you said already is that it is, you know, a 3DS basically that you can just take pretty much anywhere and then just dock it. I think that's super freaking cool. The fact that you can make that switch so easily is obviously. When I call it the Nintendo Switch, I think that the lineup that they have is pretty cool. The partners, the people that they're actually doing things with is very, very neat. I think it's a huge upgrade from the Wii U. Although I personally love the Wii U, I'm a huge Nintendo fangirl already. I think that this is looking a lot better in terms of like commercial success as well. So I think it's really paving the way for Nintendo. Even though the whole Skyrim deal, I'm also a huge Skyrim fan. That's what really sort of sold me. I have like this one-track mind when it comes to things. I'm like, I saw Skyrim. I can't wait. So it just seemed really neat. I like the design of it too. I'm kind of a sucker for aesthetics, so just the fact that it looks very plug and play, and I love the cartridge thing. I'm like, please, thank you, bring back the cartridge system. I love it.
It looks really sleek, doesn't it? Like it's got a really good form factor to it. I think.
Right. But I also like I said, I like the very the physical aspect of it, where it's like it's very plug and play and not everything's downloadable.
Right.
Which really separates a lot of the prior Nintendo consoles for me. But I'm very excited to see what they bring out for it. I'm rarely disappointed by Nintendo, so I'm probably the worst person to ask on this because I'm like, yeah, go Nintendo.
It's so good because you encapsulate my entire opinion, but like times -1. Like everything that you brought up as a positive, I respect and believe, but was exactly like the reason that I felt negative about it. I was like, Skyrim was like 5 years old. Right. Who cares? And then like, cartridges. I only want digital distribution. And like basically, I like Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. I turned that optimism effortlessly into cynicism because of the kind of person
You're just
that I am.
well trained at this point, man. It's just
redirect the
effortless.
energy around you. Use it against them.
I mean, I saw the 3-minute video, and I said, okay, what did they show us that was substantive? Like, what was there? Was there any meat there? And the answer is no, there was nothing there that really, like, aesthetically, it's cool. Immediately, I can see a million companies selling a million different add-ons to be clicking on and clicking off. Where people are going to lose shit. It's just going to go all over the place. I still think it looks cool. I wasn't aware there was an issue that Nintendo was splitting their focus between mobile and console games. I mean, they've been doing it for 20-something years. I don't think it's really an issue of them splitting the two. I do like the idea of the cartridge as well, because in a flash drive or whatever they're end up using, I think they can fit a lot more information on that.
And it's writable.
Yeah, but right. the other issue is every Nintendo initial launch has third-party support. The problem is the third-party support never makes any goddamn money, so a year later, they don't have any more third-party support because nobody buys any of their games. Nintendo has always had this issue of being the secondary console, the buddy console to your main console, which is the Xbox or the PS4. And it needs to do so much more to be a contender. And from what I mean, we know nothing really about the specs of the console so far. Mm-hmm. But my guess is it's going to be on par with the Xbox One and the PS4. And if I have the choice between the Xbox One and the PS4 and the Switch, I already have a PS4. So I'm not going to buy it. And I'll buy the Switch 2 years down the line when the Nintendo first-party games are there. But as a Wii U owner, the new Zelda's coming to the Wii U. I don't need to buy the Switch for the new Zelda. What purpose does it have somebody who has a 3DS XL and also has a Wii U? Who is this marketed towards? That's my question. So why should I give a shit about the Switch?
From your position, their primary marketing position is sort of irrelevant. Like they clearly throughout the course of the 3 minutes were heavily focused on the idea of this mobile capability that is so seamless, you know? Like, they were promoting the controllers being detachable and the capability they had to allow for multiplayer on just that little screen a lot throughout the course of just the 3 minutes. So I think that's going to be a pretty heavy selling point for them. Well, tangent there as well. Do those not look like they would cause carpal tunnel in a matter of seconds? To everyone.
No, there's no denying that. That absolutely looks like a problem, because if you're constantly like doing like, well, where does
Yo, Ryan, I brought my Switch screen. You want to play some NBA 2K17 here?
Oh god, that part of the trailer kills me when they just get off the court and then they start playing. Like, no, that's not how that works. No one's gonna do that.
Hey, bro, let's go play basketball for an hour. I'll bring my Switch. After we're done playing in real life, we'll all crowd around my 7-inch tablet and play 2v2.
The video games after. Oh yeah. So my other question too is like, so is most of the tech in the screen if it's portable?
Yeah,
like
so that's
It's all in the screen. The dock is only the video outputs. I don't.
What kind of battery life are we realistically expecting out of this thing?
And we've got multiple batteries.
Nintendo on their battery. Honestly, Nintendo, I think some of their stuff has lasted the longest for me in terms of batteries.
Sure.
Like,
Not
I
the Wii U,
rarely have
though.
issues with Nintendo stuff breaking. And it's always easily rechargeable. I don't know. I've never had issues with that. So, not super threatening to me.
The DS Lite was great. The 3DS is like worse, and the Wii U I thought was like pretty bad for battery life personally.
Really, I actually have never had a problem with that.
It's like 3 hours roughly. And if you're planning to take this item, the Switch, with you, like it has to have good battery life, right? That's pretty important.
I wonder, like, where realistically we can make the trade-off, considering that all of the processing power is within the unit that contains the display. How realistically can we expect it to have both good processing power, good enough to be on par with the consoles it's trying to compete with, both mobile and at home, and then also have good battery life? I don't
worry,
know.
man. One month after the system's out, Mad Cats will have their battery extender add-on. You can buy for $30. Extend the battery life by another 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, when I look at the Switch, again, the Switch is a really neat gimmick because that's just what Nintendo does. They do gimmicky shit. But I just look at them like all that kids are going to lose those things so fast. Things are just going to get
They don't
lost.
even have like wrist straps, do they? It's just these tiny little
I'm
things.
I'm sure they will as add-ons.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. And what they showed, like, it's like, hey, man, Skyrim, sweet. Thanks for the 6-year-old game that I have on every other system. Was it me, or like looking at Zelda being played on the ad? Did that thing look framey as hell? Like,
Yeah, it looked very low frame
Did it
rate.
really?
yeah.
Even, like,
Watch
the
the ad.
trailer.
Like, watch it again. Watch the trailer because it looks stuttery when they're playing it.
It was probably 24, but it couldn't have been more than 30.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd show you, Chad, but we get flagged, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
Like, flame shit.
My opinion of this seems somewhere in between both factions here. I'm very cautiously optimistic, but I also don't hate it, I guess. It looked kind of nice. Like, it seemed like a quality build. It looked like something that I might enjoy carrying around with me, but maybe that's also because I've been looking at tablets lately for whatever reason, so it seemed like it just hit me right in the spot I wanted. If the hardware sucks and the battery life sucks, though, I'm not going to bother. And we haven't found that information out, so I'm still sort of reserving my judgment, but I'm a little more optimistic than I expected, because with Nintendo, I knew it was going to be a gimmicky thing.
Yep.
This is that, so I didn't have very high expectations, and they crossed my low bar, I suppose. And if I get to play the new Zelda portably, I guess that's cool. I didn't really want to do that, but okay.
Right.
It's just-
That's one thing where I was not really. I don't know how often I would actually take Zelda with me. That's something
right.
where I was very much like relegated to the screen unless it is for specifically a handheld. If it's for console, I'm going to use it on a console. Like, that's just how it is.
It's, my other not worry, but my other curiosity is like they have all this third-party support. Clearly, most of it's going to be ports of stuff that probably already exists, or like stuff that's going to come out brand new, but it will also be cross-platform to everything else. And most people who own or will play those third-party games probably already own an Xbox or a PS4. I just don't know who the Switch is for. I just don't understand.
It's
who
for young millennials who are on the go, man. You
You
gotta
make over $100,000 a year.
The trailer had like a VW bus in it. And, crazy 20-somethings playing while they're sipping their coffee or some shit.
Yeah.
And on the rooftop, here's where I'm cranky. This woman just gets up and goes over to her friend's soiree on the rooftop.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, now
Classic New York soiree.
Because now we have this Nintendo item
Yeah.
with us. That's not how parties work.
Now we can play Mario Kart on our tiny baby controllers.
No.
If that commercial had been realistic, when they were in the VW bus playing Mario Kart, at least like 2 of the 3 people would have just been like vomiting all over the
Oh yeah.
like. But even just watching it, I was like, I'm watching people watching a screen while there's simulated movement to the sides of them, and I was like, I'm getting a little queasy just from looking at that. But
And for
I do like one thing about it. I like that it's bold. And that means that it could be like a roll of the dice that ends up working out well. Like it's definitely is gimmicky, but it's a gimmick we've never seen before. And I kind of like the Optimus Prime nature of it, you know, transforming and docking and undocking, and then it is like modular controllers and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm skeptical, but I'm hopeful that it'll at least work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And for the people who do pick it up that are just getting it for first-party Nintendo stuff, I mean, again, Zelda is coming out on the Wii U. If you have the Wii U, there's really no reason to get the Switch for the Zelda game. It's going to be a while before there's a library there.
Do you think we'll see like a similar development pattern to the way that Sony handled the PS2 for a while when the PS3 was around? This isn't really the same kind of situation, but
on the same game for both systems.
Right, as far as the level of support they provide for either console, I wonder how quickly they're going to get rid of the Wii U support. Basically, is what I'm asking here.
I guess maybe look at what they've done with prior releases, because I remember they stopped using Wii. They stopped tying the Wii to the Wii U after about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I think that's when they were like, okay, this is officially where everything's going to stop. We're going to stop production, stop things for the Wii. And it's like, I don't know, maybe they'll do that with the Wii U eventually, but I can't see it being anytime soon, honestly. Especially if the Switch flops, which I doubt because it's a Nintendo product. I don't know. I don't really see that happening anytime soon for the Wii.
Yeah, the Wii U did see well.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought they said there weren't going to be hardly any more first-party Nintendo games after Zelda. So like
they did show
done already, pretty much.
For the Wii U?
Yeah, for the Wii U.
Oh, it's possible. The Wii U did not do well. Like, I know that. So
I think they were ready to get out on the Wii U like already 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, right after it came out, they were like, we're pretty much done with this, but we're going to trickle out content little by little.
It has been out for 4 years. It's not like a long lifespan for a console, but it's not like they just came out with it. I mean, they came out with it a year before the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, so.
Right.
But the whole process was us waiting for them to start supporting it, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So, like, we never got a full, like, chunk of actual time with it.
My perspective on the Wii U is that, like, the rug kind of got pulled out from under them when they came out with it, and they're like, people were like, well, this is really cool. Like, I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And then all third-party publishers, like, pulled support for it, except for crappy EA Sports, you know, ports that were inferior than the Xbox One and PS4 versions.
Are you trying to tell me Watch Dogs on the Wii U was a product?
It was just like, this is the machine that plays only Nintendo games. And that was kind of and Bayonetta, right. I mean, I really, it's a bummer for that console that when people talk about, like, you know, the top 5 non-Nintendo games that came out for it, probably up there is Zombie U, where when it came out, people were like, this is a really cool idea that's kind of gimmicky, and it gives you a lot of hope for the promise of the console, and then that's it.
If you look at it, the Wii was the same way as well. Outside of first-party Nintendo games, it was a shovelware console.
Largely, yeah.
And Boom Blocks.
Confirm or deny, Elspeth, though, as far as the top 5 on the Wii U are concerned.
Top 5 non-Nintendo. Non-Nintendo thing.
Non-Nintendo?
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as the Wii U goes, that's the really difficult thing for me to answer, because I really only played, Nintendo like approved. Like, this is Mario, this is Zelda, this is our big deal that we're making for the. I don't know. For me,
Metroid. Oh wait.
Fuck. No, I didn't.
Nick, you can't complain. You just got a new Metroid game.
Don't you dare.
No, I don't know. I really only played like Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers, the big hitters for the Wii U.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay much attention to the other ones.
People saying Monster Hunter and Xenoblade are the 2.
Makes sense.
Monster Hunter, Xenoblade.
I guess
I could try out Monster Hunter, but it's never played one.
It's just so my other. I'm sorry to keep throwing out concerns, but like again, and I hope it does well. I don't hate Nintendo. I love especially their first party.
I think this
We're
might be
talking
like
about Mr. Amiibo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a million Amiibos, so I'm like.
I feel like I have to remind myself of that a lot of the time when we talk Nintendo, man. It's like I hear it now. I don't hate Nintendo, but here's a list of reasons why they're failing and they suck.
So another it's maybe a niche complaint, I guess, but like once we get the specs of the system, if it's on par with the PS4 and the Xbox One. We can assume the Switch will get equal support from third-party developers so long as the third-party developers end up making a profit. And once the other two consoles decide to go their next route, I mean, the Switch will still be maybe halfway through its life cycle. Once those two new systems start upgrading, the Switch will be left behind. Nintendo is constantly like behind the eight ball when it comes to technology. They rely on their gimmick, they like their gimmick, but they're always behind when it comes to technology, so that when the new consoles come out, the games are, you know, the best on the new stuff, and then the Wii U gets like the second-rate version of the game.
I'd like to throw out a theory here, and this is extrapolating information from my understanding of Nintendo and the Japanese game industry. And what I believe is going to happen here is, as we get through the Switch's lifespan, they're going to slowly transition over to hosting largely mobile games that are also featured on iOS and Android. And by the end of the Switch's lifespan, they're going to pull a full-on Konami and pretty much stop making video games and just make mobile games.
License out the rest. I don't think that's going to happen. That is a dark, grim outlook.
I'm throwing it out there just so I can confirm it if it ever happens.
Oh God, yeah, you just want to.
Nick, you and your dystopian outlook.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Look, chat. I'm not saying graphics are everything. I don't care that much about the graphics. What the point is, the developers will produce a worse product because of the technology. They can't do as much with the game, whether it's graphically or how big the game is or what the game's capable of, on older hardware. Like, it's just not possible. It's not about graphics or everything. It's just the developers are going to half-ass port something. That's just what's going to happen, because there's a track record that shows that. I don't care about the graphics. I play fucking Isaac every goddamn day. The game is not like blowing my mind graphically. It's just what developers do.
Let's say that's the bad ending for Nintendo.
It really sounds like a lot of the concerns kind of come back to the third-party support in a roundabout way, at least. You know, like whether or not the people like Bethesda or EA or Activision are actually standing behind the Switch in a year or two is going to primarily drive its bigger market success. And like we mentioned, like there has been concern there since with the Wii U, they sort of abandoned ship pretty early on, but again, we're still sort of just in the speculative phase, and what we have now. What?
We still know nothing.
Yeah, and like what we have now is, though, like a list of the confirmed third-party support, which includes Activision, EA. We got Epic Games on there too, which means Unreal Engine 4 support almost certainly.
From Software is on there too, isn't it?
Yeah, From Software shows up. THQ Nordic, the new.
Is Rockstar?
Oh, let's see.
Give Zelda to From. Please do it.
I'll spoil it for you. They're not on there.
They're not on there. They're not on there.
No, well, they're not on PC either, so.
True that.
They're on PC like when they feel like
Xbox One exclusive, RDR2.
You've got Telltale, Starbreeze, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, Koei Tecmo, Konami, Take-Two. So yeah, a lot of really good companies listed there. 505, Square Enix. Pretty much all the big players besides a few select noteworthy names, but promising anyway. We'll see. I suppose we'll see with the Switch. It's early in the news cycle too. We're learning more and more every day. In fact, we learned a few things yesterday. In fact, just small confirmations. But hopefully, some tech specs will come out soon. Hopefully, we'll know more concrete info. I wonder if it has a touch screen as well. I was really curious about that. Did you guys?
Elspeth, you're muted.
Oh, shit.
I'm so sorry. My dog is going crazy.
I just saw the mute sign.
She's barking at nothing, so I'm like, all right, well, we gotta wait this out. Does it have? Yeah, I thought it didn't have a touchsine, and that's kind of what.
No? Okay.
They didn't show it in the trailer.
Yeah.
God, I hope
Oddly
not.
enough.
Yeah, I'm so. I hope they don't have a touchscreen. I'm with you on that. I don't really. No more forcing me to use a goddamn touchscreen overdone.
Right, like I liked the one for the Wii U, but I would just rather them concentrate on not the touchscreen as a peripheral.
Yeah.
I think maybe just like one gimmick per unit may be their criteria here. So just we'll keep the Joy-Cons. Are they calling them Joy-Cons? Are they sticking with that? I don't know how I feel about it.
Really
Is that
sounds
after
like a knockoff sex toy.
Mm-hmm.
Like this thing comes with 2 Joy-Cons.
Use it with Res 2.0.
Yum. All right, that's Nintendo Switch. Up next on the docket, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's here. Well, it's not here yet. It's coming, but we got a trailer
Chat
for
says
it.
touchscreen was confirmed yesterday.
Oh, it was confirmed yesterday. Wow. Ooh.
Listen,
Or today,
Nintendo, I will buy the Switch though if they make Animal Crossing exclusive to it.
Oh, come on, man. You can't just all the 20 minutes of constructive criticism followed by, but with this one game that I have undying allegiance to, I suppose I'd just throw all that to the wayside and sign off.
Imagine Animal Crossing on the go.
Ooh.
What a dream.
Whoa.
You can play Pokemon on the big screen. Amazing.
Red Dead Redemption 2! Rockstar announced the game through a series of cryptic tweets over the course of this past week, finally surmising into a trailer about 50 seconds to a minute long. It is not really full of a ton of info, although it is really pretty. I will say that. It looks really nice. Lots of excellent lighting effects found within. So, show of hands. Played Red Dead Redemption?
Oh yeah.
Up there? All right. Whole
Possibly
squad.
favorite Rockstar game.
Recently.
It-
It was only like a couple months ago for me that I really was like, yeah, I should try this game out.
Oh,
I'm glad-
that was your first time playing it? Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, so I never really got into the series. But as far as Red Dead goes, I was like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was very. I really love open world sandbox games like that, and it was fun. I like the whole Western thing. That was pretty neat. I was really good at hurting stuff. that was cool. But I didn't really get too far into the story. But from what I played, I did enjoy it.
Word. I think we were talking about this maybe even recently on the show, weren't we? About maybe wanting a RDR2. So this is
We caused them to make it.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So you're welcome, rest of the world. Roundtable is here to stay and make
Support
your
our
dreams come
Patreon.
true. Yeah,
Great
there's a good way
things.
to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm just throwing the trailer on for chat as well. Just general impressions. What are we looking at here? What are we dealing with?
Is any of that the game engine, first of all?
That's a very good question.
Because without that information, I don't know. You could have just put the words Red Dead Redemption 2 on the screen and given me basically the same impression then. But
Yeah.
I'm for it. I loved Red Dead Redemption, so what do you want? Probably good.
Yeah, I
I
think so
really
too.
have like no info.
You want from me?
This is more of just a hype story than anything else. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm open for there is a factor to this that we could conversate about, and that's whether or not you think Rockstar will focus more on the online aspect, considering the recent success of Grand Theft Auto Online. They've really been hammering pretty hard at the online community there for GTA, and it's been going pretty well for them. Just raking in the cash. So I know a few days ago I actually spotted an article saying that Red Dead Online was a domain registered by Rockstar pretty recently, which is, they tend to just sort of go
Keep their shit alive.
full
basically.
brushstrokes. Yeah, exactly. They just try to keep domains that they may use in the future. But I think it's a pretty damn good chance that we see something like that, right?
Oh yeah, like I think that I'm always the guy who's like, hey, we don't know anything about this thing. It's just a trailer. Like, don't get excited.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the very few things that selfishly I'm like, I kind of am okay with cautious optimism.
Yeah.
Or even unbridled, because I think Rockstar always waits until like the right moment for stuff to happen. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. So it's been like, by the time this comes out, it will have been 4 years since the release of that. And they spent a couple of years working on online stuff. So I really feel like they release stuff when it's ready to come out. I hope there's an online component to Red Dead Redemption 2 if that ends up being what they actually go
I think
with.
they've confirmed there is.
Then
Excellent.
that would be awesome, because if that comes out and it has like a kind of an evergreen open world sandbox environment online that's actually really fun, I think that would be great. And like beyond that, after playing so much GTA 5 over like the past 2 or 3 months, I am so sick of like the modern environment and also the characters who I think are funny but terrible. And I
Not relatable at all.
I welcome
That's right.
maybe a little bit more of a serious and even-handed tone to the
Yeah,
story that
yeah.
is a little bit more like, dramatic but in a good way. A little less like satirical, like Triple X, Vin Diesel over the top, and a little bit more kind of like played straight, I guess. So
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Like, really, Rockstar may be at their best when they're dealing with a lot more serious subject matter. Like, I like Bully, too, in that respect. Like, they had a really good...
Oh, my God, I would kill for a Bully, too.
God, yeah, like, just, like, the way that they present information and just, like, the characters are a lot more interesting. So, yeah, I think that's probably their strength, and this is definitely one of the more serious series that they've ever put out. Well, series now, I guess, but, you know, just, like, entries to the series here that... more than likely will be dealing with much less humorous content, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, outside the fact that we literally know nothing about the game other than it exists, there's speculation as to when it's going to take place. My bet right now is that it's actually going to be a prequel, and it's going to take place when John Marston's in Dutch's gang, because they give like a bunch of silhouettes, and one of the silhouettes actually matches up with one of Dutch's gang's member. I think his name was Billy. One of the first guys you encounter in the first game, the way his hat is pushed up to the side.
Back when Billy was a kid.
Yeah, back when Billy was a kid.
There's a reality check I've got to throw in, though, and that's, is this going to end up being exclusive to Windows 10 and Xbox One?
Well,
it's PS4 and Xbox One, we know that.
Yeah, we're worried about it not coming to the PC at all right now. I thought that was the concern you were going to bring up. Is the
or that's the other direction you could take that and go with that one.
It's a lot worse, isn't it?
It's all bad.
So yeah, that's the other big thing is that PC. It's not announced for PC. It's only announced for PS4 and Xbox One. I hope they do what they always do, and it's like a year later, here's like a ramped up PC version. But the problem is we never got Red Dead Redemption.
I bought GTA 5 3 times.
I won't. See, that's why they're doing it, man.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
gonna put it out. You're gonna buy it because it's fucking Rockstar.
They know we will, man. Oh no!
Do it again.
I didn't think they had that info, but they do.
I guess apparently the reason Red Dead Redemption was never ported over to the PC is because the code was god awful. In order to make it work on the PC, they needed to work on it for like a year or two or something. I think that's the rumor I read. I don't know what the, how factual that is.
Yeah.
But man, I hope Red Dead Redemption 2 eventually hits the PC. Give me 6 months to a year later, and it'll suck, but I'll wait for a PC version as long as it's confirmed that it comes to the PC.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that it will come to the PC just because of how ridiculously successful GTA 5 on PC has been.
Well, GTA 5's still on their top. It's on the top sellers every week, isn't it?
Yeah,
Take a look.
People use this phrase all the time, but it just prints money. It is always selling, and then microtransactions in GTA Online are killing it as well. So
GTA is still in the top 15 right now.
And if it goes on sale for 2% off, it gets into the top 10.
Yeah,
every single time. So I would be surprised if they didn't port it over. And I do think that Rockstar is one of the few companies where I do sort of buy the excuse that they're we just want to release the best version of the game that we can first.
Well, GTA 5 was incredible on PC.
Yeah, they really did not just wait a year and a half and then port the PS3 version over to PC for GTA 5.
And there's so many for PC fans. There's so many options you can play with.
Honestly, props to people who wait for that kind of thing on PC, though. They're like, I must have the best quality. So it's you wait, but at the same time, it's going to be really, really difficult to avoid, stories.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah, this is one of those cultural phenomenon games, like a new episode of Game of Thrones that everybody's all over Twitter with.
Yeah, exactly.
And as people who are involved with the cutting edge of whatever is new, there's no way we're not going to have to buy the first iteration of it, whatever it is.
Yeah, which is why you bought 3 copies of,
GTA 5.
Wait, did you buy the re-release on PS4 then?
Yes.
Okay.
At that time, we still didn't know it was coming out on PC, so I was like, all right, is this the definitive version? And then they announced the PC version. Okay. So I hardly ever played it on PS4 at all, actually.
Yeah. I like the idea you had of the story as well, Nick, which it was really interesting. I was reading an article on, I think it was Polygon a few days ago, about the voice actor for John Marston, Rob Whitehoff. I guess he has just abandoned the industry after the Red Dead Redemption performance. Just sick of the bullshit, man. Sick of the Hollywood nonsense. So good for him. Good for you, John. You ride off into the sunset, even though you died at the end of the first one. Spoilers! Sorry.
Oh
Sorry. We all played it, so I knew I could get away with it, but there we go. Red Dead Redemption 2.
That would be it's kind of strange to just do that one thing and then be like, all right, toodles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a big thing to your name. You know, you could not just choose not to do that particular style of game. Go for some other genre. I don't know. It just didn't seem like a great decision.
I guess he just had one too many just really awful experiences. Like one in particular I was reading about, he flew out to something, it was like Tanzania or something like that, with a producer who claimed that he had this big project for him, it was going to be great, and then he's out there for a week, didn't know anybody, didn't know what he was doing, and turns out they had nothing for him at all, and he just wasted a ton of time in a foreign country. So I don't know, just experience like that maybe would leave a bad taste in your mouth pretty permanently. And
sounds like the dude needs an agent.
I guess, yeah, that's probably the first step toward a better life there. But
well, the voice acting union just went on strike,
yeah.
So he missed his window.
He sure did. I think that's very, very interesting. That it's basically, I think it's about covering health expenses. I think it's got something to do with insurance and how SAG is being cheap yet again. So they sent out like this mass email, you know, we're going on strike against these particular companies like Warner Brothers or Disney or Formosa Interactive. And a lot of people are like, I don't know if I can necessarily refuse this work, because a lot of voice actors in the union, you know, they're like, this is kind of what I do. I need this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go without this, you know, particular job being, this opportunity being afforded. So it's a very fine line with people who are able to refuse work. With SAG, I don't know. It's kind of tough.
I was reading a bit about that strike earlier today. I guess they haven't really negotiated a new contract with the big.
They're super stubborn. That's the thing. It's like the board is like, well, we don't know how well we want to take care of our voice actors. We just want you to do a good job, and then we're gonna take some of your pay.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a corporation at this point. It's very strange.
It's becoming such a big industry now, though. I think they're finally getting to the point where they can be taken more seriously. Not that, you know, they weren't before, although maybe that was part of the issue. But it is, you know, it's they're making the big bucks in those games. The actors need fair treatment, so I'm kind of glad this is happening. Honestly,
I think you know it's bringing to light a lot of the unfair treatment that voice actors experience. Just because they're not on screen, you know, doesn't mean that they're still not doing as great of a job as a screen actor would.
Right.
You know, it's still acting. It's still part of the business, and a lot of people really look past that because it's like, well, I can't see your face, so must not be as great.
Relevant note that I failed to mention at the onset of the podcast here, and you'll pardon me the moment in the spotlight for you, Elspeth, but you may recognize her, Cadence from Crypt of the Necrodancer, as well as Tristana from League of Legends.
Yep.
She's famous, man.
She's super famous. Actually, Cadence was my very first voice acting gig.
Oh, really?
And I remember seeing the artwork, and I was like, wow, this looks really fucking cool. Really neat idea for a game. And I had no idea how popular it was going to end up being. And the team is amazing. Just working with those guys was really a great experience. And yeah, it was good times. It was good times.
Hell yeah.
And then Riot's amazing as well. They're another great team, always very happy and positive. And obviously League of Legends is ginormous, so they were like, hey, would you be interested in auditioning? I'm like, yeah.
Maybe.
You know?
I'll think about it, put it on the pile, see if I can get to it at some point.
You know, I'll put it on the back burner, maybe.
Yeah. All right, well, voice actors strike. That made its way into the docket. Sweet. Now, moving on to Hello Neighbor. Mathis,
Hello.
you played a bit of Hello Neighbor. You want to tell me about it real quick?
Yeah, sure. I didn't know if you're talking.
I thought I said Mathis, but anybody can do it. I'm not even in control anymore. You can do what you want.
Go, Mathis.
All right. I was going to say, go ahead, Nick, but Hello Neighbor is a game that is currently in pre-alpha/alpha by Tiny Build Games. It is a first-person horror game in a weird way.
Say that, yeah.
Well, that's what they market it as. The idea is that your neighbor is doing something really fucking weird in his house, in his basement, and you got to get into his basement and see what he's doing. The draw is that the AI of the neighbor learns every single time you do something. So if you go through, say, a back window one night and remove one of the locks but get out before it catches you, the next night there may be a bear trap by that window, or he may have done something else to that window. And so every night's a challenge. It's a little bit of procedural in that way, and it's a really basic premise in that. Like we were talking a bit before the podcast, the idea of it being a horror game is more the fact that like the neighbor will just kind of surprise you, and that like you'll turn around and he'll be like coming in the room and there's like a loud audio cue that'll make you jump. But graphically the game is really cutesy and like Pixar-y, so it takes a lot of that horror, that fear away.
Can I reuse my funny joke that I said earlier?
Oh hell yeah, do it.
And it's like the butler from Tomb Raider. If you hear him like clanking around everywhere, I used to like lock him in the meat locker.
Just stay in there.
The only option, yeah.
But yeah, no, the game looks really. It looks kind of. It's early access.
It
right?
is okay. So it is early pre-alpha. So like we're watching footage here, and before we criticize it, because I think we're going to. This is the build before the build before the build before the build that people get. Generally,
the game runs like ass.
Well, I played it at PAX West, and it might be the same build. It's probably like a little further along, but a lot of the time it just like didn't work.
Really?
Like they were doing like a guided demo, and they're like, "Why don't you go in through the garage window?" And then I like went to the garage window and I clicked on the window, and they're like, "Oh, that's weird. That doesn't work. Why don't you hit the window?" And then that didn't work. And then like I crouched next to the window, and then like there was a collider issue, and I just got pushed into the house. And they were like, "Oh, that's weird."
Oh, you made it into the basement. Well done.
And when I was playing it, I was like, "It's a really cool idea, but like in terms of execution, it's got a long way to go to get there." And I was surprised to see that they sent out like access and people are playing it so early.
Yeah.
And when it really seemed like it was almost like just a prototype right now.
Oh, it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well that I got a code for it. I didn't ask for one. It just showed up in my mailbox, and it's like, all right, let's try this out. There's maybe like 5 minutes worth of content, if that even.
Yeah.
Like you can just walk across the way, try and get into the house a couple of times, and not really that much happens. He'll catch you. You'll go back to sleep. You wake up the next day and do the same thing again.
It doesn't actually he doesn't actually kill you, or is it?
No, he just like catches you, and then you wake up again. I don't know if that's to imply that time has passed or that you've died and you're a new body or what.
Yeah, I don't know, because I've seen.
It's just because it's pre-alpha, early, super duper previous access, and they're like, "Well, we haven't actually made like a kill scene yet."
I've seen in the trailer, like the way you lose, I guess, is that like he'll catch you, you'll get knocked out, and eventually you wake up in a box as he's like nailing the box shut, and he's like shipping you away. That's what I've seen.
The premise involves you losing to change. Like, so there's an element of it that's a little bit like Dark Souls shortcuts, where you'll go in one day, you'll unlock a back door, and then the next day you can come back and use that door because it won't have a lock anymore. And if he catches you, I believe those things stay, but maybe that's the way they're routing it. That when you die, those things reset. I don't know.
I think.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, it seems like the core gameplay loop is like. Not this is a bad example, but you know, like Rogue Legacy has their permanent upgrades over the course of many playthroughs. I think that's sort of the similar premise here, is that you'll make more progress as you attempt it more and more and more.
It needs a lot of. It still needs a lot to. There's so much to be done. I'm surprised they sent out codes as well, just because there's just not a whole lot of meat there. I feel like they could have waited like 6 more months before announcing this game.
I want to talk a little bit more in depth about how they are promoting this too, because it's just sort of a really interesting, and it happens to be Tiny Build too, a publisher that we've discussed the promoting habits of in the past.
They have very unique ways.
Yeah, they're trying a lot of different things, and I'm wondering how I feel about this particular one. So of course they're sending out the early pre-alpha builds to a lot of streamers and YouTubers, and I think they're actually even like just sending it out to their general mailing list as well. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys saw this one, but I got an email that contained a link that said something like, if you go retweet this tweet, that's our pinned tweet on our profile, and like it, then we'll enter you into a giveaway for one of the Hello Neighbor codes. And I'm not sure if that's like streamers. I'm not sure if that's streamer or YouTuber exclusive, if that was just like they send it out to everybody that follows their list. But
that is that marketing though, like go to our Twitter
and
tweet it, maybe this will happen.
It's like they've changed their header on Twitter to the Hello Neighbor stuff. They're going all in on this one title pretty heavily, and there's also one that kind of rubs me the wrong way more than any of this other stuff does too. There was one email in particular I got from them It said, get into the Hello Neighbor Alpha early by backing Guts and Glory's Kickstarter. So it says, if you back this Kickstarter at $25 or higher, this is not really a foreign concept as far as like, for example, back in the Halo days, if you bought Crackdown, you got access to the Halo beta, right? So it's been a thing in the past. But this one, it's the fact that it's so early on, and just the what they're offering at the moment is really not even near a finished product. It's just sort of fishy to me. I don't know if I'm alone in that feeling.
That Kickstarter thing that was marketed specifically towards streamers, that they want to encourage people to play the game by paying for it and then advertising it for them? Is that what you're saying?
That's a more plain form of it, but I wouldn't disagree necessarily.
Like, I really like Tiny Build, but that's kind of weird. I don't like that very much.
I'm on the same page, yeah.
I feel like Tiny Build is the publisher that does all of the weird marketing stuff, and some of it works out really well for them, and some of the time you're like, eh. Like for Cluster Truck, if you pre-ordered Cluster Truck, you got access to the totally accurate battle simulator pre-beta, but then it didn't like morph into the actual like full release when the game came out. It was like you only got access to the beta, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but maybe it's okay. People are excited about the battle simulator, so that's sort of cool. Yeah. And then a lot of streamers were really into the affiliate sales for Punch Club, and they got like a ton of positive press for that. And this one, I sort of agree that it's not a huge fan of anything where it's like, we really respect you as streamers and YouTubers, but we think you deserve access, but we're not going to give you access unless you retweet.
We're going to dangle it on a string in front of you all area long.
Exactly.
There's also a weird bias in that, too. Like, if you're going to have to pay for something or sort of look like you're promoting it, like, you can't come across as completely neutral then, or at least it makes it more difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
I discourage that in general.
Still, for them, even though I'm not huge on like, well, this is a purchase stream where I'm promoting this, it's still exposure for their game.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not you enjoy the game or actually get a key, it's like, oh, cool. Thanks for the retweet. Now we're on your Twitter feed, and now it looks like, well, of course I love this game.
Yeah.
It's a thin line there, and I don't like that sort of approach. I'd rather them just be like, are you interested in this? Here's a key.
Yeah.
And again, Hello Neighbor is in no shape to be shown off to anybody right now anyway.
I completely agree with that, man. I don't want to be too mean, but
I'll be mean. There's no goddamn options. You can't tweak the graphics. It runs at ass FPS. It doesn't look all that great. There's a lot of missing audio. The game glitches. It's crashed on me. It's just not ready. It's not ready to be seen outside of a heavily edited trailer presented for people to see. Just not ready. There's nothing there. Also, the guy you play lives, like, in my mind, I don't think he cares about what's in the neighbor's basement. I think he wants to live in the house because the house that you live in is literally a bedroom and a door. You have nothing there. Really, you're just trying to find a warm place to live with heat and food.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, but I kind of agree.
I can't.
It really could have just been a trailer, and that would have covered everything they needed to do. Just give it another 6 months and then talk to us about it. I like the premise, though. It's a good premise.
Yeah. I think they really they just bought a bit too heavily into their own hype right now, and this game is still I like there's two things that'll happen at this point. Either they're going to rush production and try to get it out there a lot more quickly while the hype is still high, or it's going to die off and
starbound.
Yeah, like they're just going to lose interest as we progressively find out more and more. Hello Neighbor is now in alpha. Hello Neighbor is now in beta. Hello Neighbor now early access release.
Why do they need to do this now? Is my question.
Yeah.
Are we looking at maybe they need money? Like it's not even available. It's not even available to buy in early access right now.
That one game that they released in alpha still. What was it? No Man's Sky.
Oh, No Man's Sky.
Oh,
That's such a good game.
You just have a birtation there,
Matt.
Mathis?
Probably already discussed No Man's Sky.
We've had about 2 months worth of shitting on No Man's Sky. Yeah, we've been doing
That
fine.
piece of
All right, let's calm down. Let's reset.
Yeah, let's get a.
It just makes me so mad.
It does make me mad because it's a clear example of a developer fucking lying.
We know, man.
Mathis, tell us what you really think, though.
They fucking did you know like they shut down like the mod just shut down the subreddit?
The whole subreddit, yeah, it just
I'm
went under.
And it's under two like. Oh my god, I don't want to.
How many readers are on that thing? There's got to be like hundreds of thousands of people that are still
there
following
was posts
that.
going up that had like 1,000 upvotes every day for the most part on that. The moderator's like, fuck that shit. Anyway, it's too early. I just don't understand why they want to put it out so early. It's not even available for sale yet.
Well, there's one more thing I want to mention. That's that they know the development roadmap because they've already announced there's going to be an update for people that have a code now.
Yes.
In the next week. And it's supposed to add a bunch more final content. I don't know what that means exactly, but final as in target. I don't know how that'll affect the part we've seen already or whether or not that'll make it dissonant, because if you end up with a spy party thing where half the game looks one way, the other half looks another way, that's even more fracturing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, maybe they should have just said embargo. You don't stream this. Just play it for yourself. That probably would have covered all bases, right?
Even then, I just think this build is just like, why are they showing this off? You know, it's not ready.
Yeah.
Put it back in the oven. I like what you have at its core, but it needs to cook longer.
Yep. Again, I want to know why. What was the purpose of bringing it out so early? Because it's like I said, it's not available to purchase, so maybe it's not monetary. And if they're hyping it, it's too early to hype it. What was the benefit of showing this game and then being like, you know what, let's give it to everybody and like let people promote it for us? It's just not ready.
Oh my god! And I don't know if this is like literally just posted today. Apparently, the pre-alpha is open now. So that's just
like for free.
Let's have a look.
I don't see it on Steam to be bought.
Yeah, it's not through Steam. Looks like just like on their website. If you haven't signed up before, you can get the pre-alpha at helloneighborgame.com. There you go. There it is.
Weird.
Well, for those of you that want to check it out, maybe go sign up. You can see for yourself what we're talking about. Okay. More news that got people pissed off. Let's talk about Hearthstone's heroic brawl. Ryan, you want to talk to me about this?
Okay, so for context, Hearthstone is a free... I'm just joking, but for real context...
Asymmetric multiplayer game. No, it's symmetrical, right?
I played Hearthstone like twice and still don't get it. Like, I don't... This is so
boring. Give her the crash course.
Like, it's a fucking card game.
It is a card game.
What? Okay.
Dude,
Okay.
For context, basically, in Hearthstone, to have a competitive deck, you need to amass a certain amount of really good cards that are rare. You open them from card packs that you pay for with real money, or you purchase with in-game gold. Once a week, they did something called a Tavern Brawl, which was like a unique set of rules that made for more fun random matches usually. And it gave everybody one free pack when they played it. And then last week, they were like, we're going to replace the Tavern Brawl temporarily with something called the Heroic Tavern Brawl. Oh my god, that's
horrifying.
Whoa! Dude, I turned around and came back to that. Fuck. Okay, audio only listeners, you're missing out on a classic Nick Mask. So, sorry, go ahead.
Good lord. So basically, it's for $10 or 1,000 in-game gold, which is the equivalent of $10, you can enter into a tournament, and if you win 12 games, you win like a ridiculous amount of rewards. But if you win less than 5 or 6 and you lose 3 times before that, 3 times and you're out, then you get like a really disproportionately low amount of rewards. And a lot of people were bent out of shape about it because they're like, even good players wouldn't want to do this because it's a huge risk up front and you've really got to beat the odds, not just be a good player, but beat the odds in order to get rewards that'd make it worth your while. So there's a lot of like backlash, and they're like, it's a mode just for streamers because streamers are going to get donations and viewers and subscribers while they play it regardless. And then Blizzard backpedaled a little bit, and we're like, we're going to move it to later. And it kind of, I mean, it's kind of like a circle jerk thing in the Hearthstone community right now. Is like there's like 80% of people are like, this Tavern Brawl sucks because it takes away my chance to get a free pack this week. And then there's like 20% that are like, why is everyone being a big baby and complaining? And it's a funny situation. But
you're back.
Big baby.
Hey, Nick.
Hi.
I feel like I might be the only one.
No, I'm actively participating in this.
I don't mean to like of you guys, but I think I'm the only one who participates in like the grind of Hearthstone. Really, So for me, like I do the Tavern Brawl every week and I get my pack and then I go grind gold elsewhere. So like I don't intend to play the heroic Tavern Brawl. If you guys play Hearthstone but play it like, you know, just more casually here and there, I guess it's kind of an issue that doesn't really affect you at all.
So,
what was the next topic?
Guess I didn't give you much on that one.
Yeah, no, that was a complete barrier.
Well, if you want, you know, we can do NL's Hearthstone Corner. They also released
I'm curious, like, whether or not you feel personally slighted by it, honestly.
Whether I feel personally slighted?
Yeah, whether you feel Blizzard was intending to offend you.
No, but people are mad because Blizzard takes like a 30% rake in it. So it basically they're taking gold out of the economy just before they announce the new expansion, which everybody thinks is going to come out of BlizzCon. So there is a little element of like, are you that cynical about a game publisher? And I think the answer for a lot of people is going to be yes, that maybe they just masterminded this Tavern Brawl to suck gold out of the economy. So when the actual expansion comes out, people are going to be more inclined to pay real money because they won't have like a ton of gold stored up. But
pardon my ignorance, but do you actually, I mean, you can buy packs, right, in Hearthstone already?
Correct.
So what's the advantage to this Brawl? I mean, if you're just going to you just grind for extra packs, is that it? I mean, I don't know anything about Hearthstone.
It's a little bit like a tournament setup for like a more traditional esports tournament, basically. So like if you basically 1,000 gold is the entry. If you just went to the store, 1,000 gold would get you 10 packs.
It's like $10, right?
Yeah, it's $10 basically.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then if you get the maximum number of wins, you get 50 packs for $10, which is a ridiculous payout. Plus you get 3 gold legendaries, which is like maybe even worth more than the 50 packs to begin with. But if you get 0 wins, you only get 1 pack. So there's a huge variance between it. If you're like really confident in your abilities and you do well, you could turn that 1,000 gold into something that like paid for itself 10 times over. But if you're not confident in it, then you know you just missed out on basically $9. And to grind that in game is like probably 2 weeks. So people are like, man, that's a bummer, especially with the expansion probably coming out in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or so.
I mean, it definitely seems like a risk to take, but I mean, I guess is it for the people who are more like dedicated to the game, or is it more casual players? Like
probably honestly, I think people were right that it's marketed towards streamers.
Yeah.
For whom like if you're a Hearthstone streamer and you pay $10 or 1,000 gold, that's not really a large investment considering you'll be able to play it for a few hours and then you know, there's not only the chance to get your reward back from playing, but also like your viewers supporting you. So,
no offense, Nick, but I'm going to take the Nick approach here and say that this is definitely it seems to be a case of like Blizzard knows not only are they marketing it toward the streamers, but they also know that people watching the streamers will see the streamers perform well and think to themselves, oh, he did really well with 1,000 gold buy-in and got 11 wins and got 16 packs or whatever. Yeah. I can go in myself and probably have a similar experience, and then I go spend $10 and get a pack and get rare and 4 commons. So like that, it's, you know, Blizzard knows what they're doing here, but it's going to make them a bunch of money. And I can't really be too upset either because, you know, it's opt-in. I think most people know what they're risking, know what they're getting into with this situation. So it's just, you know, it's a little gambly. It's a little fishy, but at the same time.
How long is it going to last?
It's only going to be for a week. But as far as I'm concerned, there's 2 things that are interesting about it. One is that it replaces the casual guaranteed payout mode that's free for a week with something that's super hardcore and it has the chance for like huge variance. And
it's weird that they replaced it.
Yeah, I really wish they did it alongside.
Like, yeah, but I mean it's only for a week, so it's not a huge deal. But then the other thing is like, is this the direction people want Hearthstone to go? Where it's almost like a little bit more of like an online poker sort of thing. Like right now, Hearthstone is like the most you can lose is like if you pay for Arena and you go 0-3, you lose 50 gold. You lose the equivalent of 50 gold, which is nothing. On this, you could lose the equivalent of 900, which is going to make people pretty bummed out if it happens to them. But yeah. I don't know. I guess it's a point of personal preference. For me personally, like I'd prefer if they just made that a separate mode that I could never touch because I am not confident in my ability to beat really good players, and then they gave you the Tavern Brawl every week anyway, and maybe made them a little bit more enjoyable than just
getting shit on.
Make a deck out of one card. And, every turn, all cards are random and have random mana costs. Anyway, that's Hearthstone.
Sweet. All right. Well, that's the heroic brawl. It's
but they're also giving away a bunch of free packs if you choose who you want to win in the Blizzard, the BlizzCon World Championships. So you should just log into your Hearthstone account and then pick a random person, and then you could get some free packs.
Yeah.
Can I give them to you?
No.
Oh.
You can't gift packs?
No, you can't get packs or gold or dust.
Yeah.
Because then they won't make any money.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
They're buying back a little bit of goodwill, though, with that Champions giveaway, so that's good at least.
Go Sidonia. I chose him because he is Canadian, and I know nothing about the Hearthstone esports scene at all. So he's my favorite player. Go Sidonia. I think guaranteed he's going to win.
Hold on, I gotta remember who I actually chose here.
Guaranteed.
I have chosen Jason Joe.
Oh, you're fucked.
Oh.
Sorry, Bear.
Sorry. All right. Okay, moving on. Let's talk Paper Mario Color Splash. Ooh,
Let's
okay.
talk about Paper Mario Color Splash.
Elspeth, you gotta tell me about this one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So I love the Super Mario series. I think it's always super polished. The writing is amazing. They always do a great job with sound design. The music is always very memorable. It's just colorful and fun. It's one of those games where you're just like, God, I really, really enjoyed that. Where you get like a meal, like a big ass fast food, like big ass burger or something. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna eat this and enjoy it. It's probably not worth super much in the long run for me, but I still really enjoy it. And for what it is, I think it's a very, very well made game. I've only put like 3-4 hours into Color Splash proper, but it's a lot of fun. The combat system is well thought out. You actually use the gamepad a lot more in this one than I think, because obviously it will be you, but use it a lot more than I thought you would. Which does take away a little bit from the experience sometimes, where it's like, well, now I have to look down here. I have to look at this screen instead of this screen, where I would rather have everything be just on one screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual experience goes of Color Splash, I think it's very fun. It's very well made, and the writing is always stellar. They've got really, really. I wouldn't say they're like super well developed characters. They're what you come to expect from the Mario world.
Yeah.
Like, so, you can only develop Toad so much before it's like, okay, yeah, this is Toad. This is who he is as a kid. Not a whole lot of Toad. Right, not a whole lot of Toad. But
destroy a voice.
No. I was actually doing a voice cast with Paper Mario, and it was a number on your vocal cords because there's a Toad every 15 fucking seconds. You're like, why did I choose to do this? But it is fun, and I don't know. I'm really looking forward to getting more into it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm probably about the same amount into you. I'm like 3 or 4 hours in, I think, like you. I have a couple complaints, but overall, I'm really enjoying the game. I agree with you. First of all, it's gorgeous. Like
it is.
That's paper theme, and they do everything they can with it. They play it up for laughs. It's beautiful. Like the world is great. I love Mario gets friend zoned in like the first 20 minutes of the game. It's amazing. Princess Peach is like, "This is my friend."
Oh my God! I had that. I played this. I played this on stream, right?
Yeah.
And so when she mentions this, she's talking to a paint can who is your partner basically, and she looks at Mario. She's like, "I'm Peach, and this is my friend Mario," and I'm like,
"Damn it,
poor Mario!" Like, what? He's basically the one who's coming to Peach's aid in every single game.
Yeah,
they're just best friends.
Like 20 years.
This is my friend. Yeah.
She made him a cake.
Yeah, she made him a cake. He gets a kiss on the cheek every once in a while.
Don't expect any sexual favors from Peach or anything, but still, it's like, come on.
It's because Luigi's secretly porking Peach behind the scenes.
We all know it, don't we? Yeah, there's just some nasty relationship going on.
That's the legend.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tell Luigi has higher testosterone levels just based on his physical stature.
Yeah, he's a little taller.
He can jump higher. He's taller. My biggest complaint about the game is actually was something you said earlier. Is it's the forced use of the gamepad. I goddamn fucking hate it. It makes combat go so slowly.
Yeah.
Because the way combat works is very similar to Sticker Star in that you don't level up, you don't have abilities, you use cards that you gather when you do combat. And you can determine the power of a card by putting paint into it. And you can like maybe do a half power if you only want to put like half the paint into it, because paint is a finite resource that you manage. But in every single time you want to do a move, you have to go through your cards, you pick your card, you drag it up to the spot, you then hold down on the card, put paint in the card, then flick the card up onto the screen, and then you use the card on the
Holy
screen.
hell!
Jesus,
It's a lot
man.
of extra work for something that could probably be done in like 1 or 2 moves.
There's no reason. Like
Yeah,
I could
they
look
really
on
make it extraneous for no good reason at all.
it slows. It makes combat not unbearable, but fucking boring most of the time.
Mhm.
Especially because it's an RPG in a lot of ways. So you're gonna have a lot of random encounters and trash mobs that you're gonna be fighting. And every time I get into combat, I'm like, okay, fill the fucking pay. All right,
Right, yeah.
all right. Now I'm gonna do the active combat system. Oh, I'm gonna block. Okay.
And the
What
only way
next?
you
What do
can
I want to do
actually
next?
the only way you can actually find out how strong the paint actually is, because the first time when you're in combat, the way you fight is you have these blank stickers, and then like you said, you add paint to them, and there's no real gauge of telling like how strong or powerful this paint's actually going to be against this particular enemy. So you have to like waste all your paint, and then you're like, oh shit. Now when you use a blank card, it's actually just a piece of crap. So it does get a little frustrating when they just throw you right into it, and you're like, okay, well, why am I doing this? Why am I adding paint to this? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, the gamepad breaks a lot of.
Yep. And then another freaking example of Nintendo being like, we've got this gimmick that no one
Yeah,
uses.
yeah.
Let's force you to use this stupid gimmick. I'd rather just use the Pad Pro and just play it like I played Sticker Star, man.
Right. You're with me on the writing though, right? Like
Oh, the writing is top notch.
It's so good. It's
Best
so
part
good.
of the game. It has me laughing like every 10 minutes. Like it is so good. And like there's jokes in there kids would not understand.
Exactly. There's so many. It's a little bit like how SpongeBob SquarePants used to be with its
Yeah, before it was shit.
very,
Yeah.
like.
Oh,
favorite
come on. It's still fine.
Or Shrek.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Shrek was always just so good.
Yeah.
Hey, Mathis. Come on now.
Yeah, the interaction between characters is very, very well done, and that's what really kind of drew me into the series in the first place, was how well it was written.
Yeah.
It's very, very different from any other Mario game I've honestly played, where it's not just cut and dry. This is what Mario says. This is blah blah blah. These characters aren't fleshed out at all, as opposed to Paper Mario, where they actually give them a voice, like the Shy Guys, and how some of them are neutral towards you, and some of them actually will help you in the long run. And I've never actually seen a Shy Guy do anything except, right.
Right.
In the whole franchise, it's very like he's just this monotone little character. But it's great what they do for the Mario universe.
There's something oddly, weirdly sexual watching a Shy Guy drain the color with a straw on a character.
When this
Are you
first
okay?
happened, people
Yeah.
were like, what the fuck is he doing?
So, like the enemies drain, like the whole thing is like enemies are draining color, and the way they do it is Shy Guys just whip out straws, and it's like dick level, like straight up dick level, like straw, and they're like surrounded, like, I'm like, what is going on?
The first time you see this is this Shy Guy. It looks like he's just filleting this toad out in the middle of nowhere.
You just walked in on it on your trail.
And Toad's like, ah! And he's just like slurping away at Toad.
Oh, God.
It's like Marceline from Adventure Time. She sucks the red out of things.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
It's really strange, but it's awesome.
It
The
is.
writing carries it. Like as much as I don't like the combat because it's slow and boring, the writing is just so good that I just want to keep going because it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's well done. I'm a little bit like on the price of the game, because I think it's still like 60.
Yeah, I think it's full price.
It's a full price game. But I don't know. I would say so far it's been worth it. Usually the games end up Paper Mario games end up being very, very enjoyable, and I recommend it to people if you want to check
If you
it out.
hated Sticker Star, you're gonna hate this though.
Yeah, it's very similar to Sticker Star.
Yeah.
How deep are you into it, Elspeth?
I'm about 3-ish, 4 hours in.
Okay, so you and Mathis
I'm
are about the
on,
same.
like,
Yeah, we're probably around the same area.
or something like that.
Okay.
You find this character who calls himself Toad, Super Toad or something, and he's like screaming justice every 2 seconds, and you have to like help him find his pants and his diaper, and it's fucking wacky, but you're really enjoying it.
Really
Because you're like, why am I going off
Sounds
on
like a
this
treat.
why am I going off on this adventure to find this toad's clothing? Why am I finding his attire? And then you finally help him dress up, and he becomes like this important character all of a sudden who helps you. It's very, it's very off the wall. And I love games that just constantly surprise you with that sort of thing, where it's like, I didn't see this element coming. This is great. Thank you for doing this.
Hell yeah! All right,
Good shit.
$60, Paper Mario Color Splash. It's on the Nintendo eShop.
I like pre-order. I was like, I'm just gonna pre-order this.
Don't you dare preach that sacrilege in this podcast.
What, pre-ordering?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that does it. So
It's not surprising knowing how excited for the Switch you were.
wow. I'll throw my money at anything. Probably why I'm so poor, but I don't care. Give me that extra guac on my burrito bowl. Give me the pre-order shit.
Pre-order the guac. All right.
You gotta make sure get that pre-ordering before they run out of digital copies.
The guac is worth it. I'll accept.
Guac is
Guac
is worth it.
But I don't understand, from a principled standpoint, how Subway can charge for guacamole.
Here we go.
But they don't charge for other pickled toppings that are premium toppings at other places.
It's just
I don't think Subway has a right to be charging for guacamole. First of all, it's probably not even guacamole because it's Subway.
You ever
It's probably just green paint, and they're like,
I don't remember.
green
Like, Kate really likes having guacamole on her sandwich or avocado on her sandwich.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember to tell them to put it on first, because otherwise they put on the shredded lettuce, and you're like, okay, and I'd like some avocado as well. And then they've got the weird ice cream scoop on top of
They're
the
just
shredded.
dragging lettuce across the whole sandwich,
Yeah,
right?
they try to like
it's
spread
always
it.
a little unnerving when they like reach into like the tuna with the ice cream scoop. I'm like,
Yeah.
those don't go together.
It's not okay.
All right. Paper Mario Color Splash and Subway come together finally here on Roundtable. Out of the Jackbox Party Pack 3. This came out October 17th on Steam. Currently $22.49, 10% off. Normally $24.99. The newest pack from the Jackbox crew contains Quiplash 2, the sequel to Quiplash. Well, first of all, does it change, like, anything about the first Quiplash in Quiplash 2? Have you noticed?
You can have custom prompts, and then the final round is now variable. So instead of just being, like fill in the blanks again, it's like, come up with a caption to this comic, or I forget what else we had, but there were like 2 new like last lash things that I've never seen before, which was kind of cool. But I think the big draw is definitely like custom prompts, so you can actually curate your own episodes and then play those like on demand with people.
I've heard really good things about it. I actually haven't tried it out for myself yet, but is it sort of like Quiplash where people, you input your own sort of answers? Is it like a community-driven game, or what is it?
I mean, it's actually a direct sequel, so it's pretty much exactly the same game, except it's got new prompts and then the ability to add in your own prompts. But you can do the same thing you do with like Quiplash 1 or Quiplash XL, where you can like give a code out to your audience, and then the audience can join and they can vote on the answers that the streamers give, or they could even, if you wanted to, you could have them join the game themselves and play along with you if you trust them to give answers that are not terrible for a variety of reasons. But they also add a lot of censorship options now, which is good. So as the first person into the game, you can be like, you can pre-screen the answers if you want and be like, well, that's just terrible, and then just delete it. And if
yeah, I remember you did not have that option. Am I
no. Definitely did not.
I remember some pretty horrible things on streams, like, oh my god, this is probably the reason I haven't played this game on stream. Because it's like,
yeah. But I mean, sometimes like your co-streamers give terrible answers like that, and then you have to just do damage control.
Marfle pop.
Yeah.
But, of course, the draw to the Party Pack 3 is not just Quiplash 2 alone. They've also got a couple new entries into the Jackbox pack, including Guespionage, which is probably our favorite new entry into the series, I would imagine, yeah?
I am pro Guespionage, yes.
It's okay, so we've described this quite a few ways, but I'm just going to get at what it actually is. So you'll play with an audience or just using global data that they have gathered through their own research, and you try to guess the percentage of people that have a proclivity toward a certain thing. So, for example, it will ask you how many people prefer to have way more peanut butter on their sandwiches than jelly, like a whole lot more. And they'll make it that specific too. They'll say things like who prefers horror movies to romance movies or stuff like that. So you try to guess a percentage from 0 to 100, and then the other people that you're playing with will guess whether they think the percentage is higher or lower than the percentage that you guessed. So say I chose 40% of people like peanut butter sandwiches. People say higher or lower. You can also go much higher or much lower, which is 15% above or below the original guess. And then you get points divvied out that way. So it's pretty fun. They've got a lot of really good prompts in there too. Good Twitch game, good audience game. I do really wish they would allow for custom prompts in there, especially considering when you have like more than 5 audience participants, it just pulls straight from the audience data for the people that are playing along with you and doesn't actually use any of the global data. So there's room for improvement there. A couple of things that I think we'd like to see, but otherwise really promising.
It's the same like that we were talking about on the stream, where like every Jackbox that comes out makes the Jackbox Party Pack better, but they also leave like one obvious opening where you're like, well, I guess in the Jackbox Party Pack 4 that'll happen.
Right.
So like with Quiplash in the last one, people were like, I really wish that there were custom prompts so you could make your own episodes. And then they added that in the third one, but now Guespionage has like a shortage of prompts, and you're like, man, I really wish you could just make your own survey questions. And then I'm sure like Jackbox Party Pack 5, we're going to have like custom episodes for Guespionage that we can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bummer that there's so many repeat prompts, because that game is really good. But I guess like they had to do surveys for all of the questions themselves, because not everybody's going to play the game and have like, you know, hundreds or thousands of people in the audience. So I can understand why they would have a shortage of prompts, but very selfishly, for like the 0.1% of the population that we represent, I wish they just added that functionality.
Is it overly cynical of me to think that they shouldn't keep making these sequels with like obvious features missing and have like 50 prompts in each one that you're going to see in 1 hour? It seems really weird to me that they keep doing it. I don't mean to like throw shade at them, because I enjoy the games, but they just feel a little bit off to me, that they're always sort of almost there, but then not really.
Yeah, that does seem like a little bit like they're cheating. Like, here, just play this game for a little bit, and then hopefully you're not going to play more than 3 hours worth, because a lot of these are going to recycle. I think that's strange that they don't allow your own prompts too, because that's probably one of the things that makes, you know, most of those games the most enjoyable, is when you're able to, you know, customize it.
Yeah.
They do in Quiplash, it's just like the other ones don't, which makes it almost even more sort of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You're like, like you did it already.
The functionality clearly exists, you just haven't crossed it over to the other entries in the pack.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also sort of see it like almost as more of a board game than as like a video game. And at that level, like $15, even if you only get the opportunity to play it, you know, maybe 3 or 4 times, is a pretty good value as far as games like that go. Like, I feel like for the average person that isn't a streamer, this is the kind of thing where, like, you know, you're having an after work party or something like that, or it's Thanksgiving and you're like, let's put Quiplash on, or, you know, let's play Guespionage or something like that. Or another thing I like about it is the idea of doing like community events at like bars and stuff like that, or at conventions. Like, I've seen some places do that, where they're like, okay, tonight is like Quiplash night at this bar, so like come on out and, you know, be terrible publicly and maybe win some prizes.
Yeah.
I would much rather have more prompts than less production value. Like, I don't necessarily think the voice acting adds much to it. I don't think the weird videos of people going into the refrigerator add much to it.
Those
like,
don't make any sense at all, man.
Like, just take those out and put more just put more of the actual content and make it less of a game show and more of a board game then.
Yeah.
I feel like that would satiate everybody.
Make it actually fun to play. You know, I don't just want like the lead up. I don't want the intro to the game. I don't really care much about that. Just make it good.
Yeah.
For when we're actually playing.
Yeah.
It is good. It's just too short. There's just not enough content.
It's kind of like, it's a vestige of You Don't Know Jack, really, where like You Don't Know Jack was a trivia game, but there were only like maybe 20 episodes that had like less than 10 questions each, and they were all curated, and they had like you know, funny dialogue related to each question in it. It was like a different philosophy for development. And I actually agree with you that I really prefer the Jackbox stuff as like an engine for kind of funny moments that happen between the players, as opposed to the game telling a joke and then you distribute the joke, because it really, from a streaming perspective, it really doesn't work. That only the person hosting the game even gets to see it. And that's another thing I wish they would work on. Like, I wish Jackbox Party Pack 4 was just like, if you give them the code, they can just play the game on their screen instead of.
Yeah. Just give me a client. I'll pay $5. Give me a client. I can't make the games. I can only join them.
And then just like distribute the actual prompt that way, so that and like all the audio and stuff that way as well. But anyway,
it makes me wonder who they are selling the most to, whether it be streamers or people that are, like you said, Ryan, like hosting local events or playing with their friends or family in their house or something like that. Because they have games that are basically local only. Like there was Faking It, for example, which was the one that is more or less an exaggerated version of Have You Ever or whatever that party game is called. Right. So I'd be curious to find out who they're primarily marketing toward, although I'm sure they're trying to cover all their bases as best they can too. The idea though, I wish that the Jackbox Party Pack had just acted as a platform and then they just built from that. But I think, first of all, I think they've actually addressed that themselves and said, like, people don't buy that as much, basically. People are much more prone to buy sequels than they are to buy expansion or DLC content, which makes sense. But still, it's hard to ignore the fact that the Party Pack sequels tend to, like we've been hammering the point of, leave us with desires pretty commonly for the sequel, for the next iteration.
I'm left with desires.
Indeed.
Left with desires.
Story of my life.
Insatiated.
I do kind of think, like, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate on it.
Sure.
It's almost like if they made the game we wanted, they would eliminate themselves as a business.
Almost, yeah.
No, I'm fine with not having custom prompts if they just give us like 1,000 prompts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's more to what Bear said. Why don't they just create like this platform and they sell bits, like new prompts? Here's
like Twitch does,
like 100 prompts for like $2.
Yeah, I like that.
Something simple. Just throw out a couple bucks here and there, get new prompts for the game you like, and everybody walks away happy.
See, like a holiday pack, or just like a fucking here's the election pack. People would totally buy that.
Yeah,
it's card add-ons for Cards Against Humanity work like that.
Exactly.
Except, pay for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jackbox Party Pack, third one. It's $25, available right now on Steam. Nick,
Probably gonna get it.
you're gonna get it. All right, that's good. That's good.
It looks. You guys, said some solid points here, and I feel like I've just kind of been reserved because I don't really play those games too often.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a lot of fun. But after 2 hours, it'll be like, well, there goes my money.
You'll have, you're not too far off. You'll have seen most of the offering, but Espionage is really good. I really like what they've got with that.
I feel like you could probably do Quiplash like once a week for a few hours and do that for like a year before you run out, honestly.
Yeah?
But
there you go.
Just become a Quiplash streamer.
Yeah.
you could.
Why
Yeah.
not?
We bordered on that in the past.
Nick, tell me about Dragon Quest Builders.
Yeah, sure thing. So Dragon Quest Builders is a new offering from Square Enix Business Division 5. Catchy title, I know.
Yeah, man.
Published by Square Enix. It is a title from the origins of the Dragon Quest ideology, in that it follows along the lineage of this classical RPG archetype that you might be familiar with from the Dragon Warrior games back in the NES days. This is a very long and convoluted way of saying it's a game in the Dragon Quest series. So if you'd like to check out a game about the Dragon Quest series, this is one of those. Okay, no, it's sort of a Minecraft reimagining with a bit of a more guided and linear function to it, in that it's a sandbox game, survival elements, and guided in structures. So you start out as a character who is the gifted builder in this world where the Dragon Lord has taken away humans' ability to build things. It's a very specific problem to have, but that's the problem you have in this game.
Sucked it out of him like a Shy Guy in Paper Mario, right?
What villain was like, I could kill them all? Or I could stop them from building.
I could
He
take
killed them
their
all too, in
building
a way.
powers.
It was part of this like Armageddon element that happened to this world where the monsters overpopulated the humans, and also as part of killing the humans, he made them not able to build, so they couldn't like repopulate, I guess.
That's metal, dude. That's hardcore.
Yeah, some benevolent force gave my character the ability to build, because I'm the legendary builder, of course. So I wake up in this crypt, and I basically have the ability to place Minecraft blocks, which is, it's basically just what it sounds like. You find your way out of the crypt, make your way down to the town, and little by little you start to rebuild the town, and new people will show up, and there's little story beats that go along with the new
Like
people.
Dark Cloudy in that regard?
Maybe. I didn't really play Dark Cloud.
No, missed out, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I have them.
It's a good one.
So little by little, you'll uncover more people. You'll uncover more items. Because at the beginning, it's very slow in tutorialized, I have to be honest. There's a lot of dialogue that isn't really necessary. And I think they're kind of largely going for a younger demographic and perhaps chasing the Minecraft element there, in that there's more tutorialization than you need. You'll end up skipping through stuff because it's a bit superfluous.
Yeah.
And they pretty much remind you of like your active quest every time you talk to anyone, which gets a little bit overbearing.
Don't forget.
Like every NPC. Just
Not
says like
every, but like they only have one dialogue tree thing that happens. Like once you talk to them, they'll just repeat your quest, which is sometimes like 15 dialogue boxes that you don't need to read again. And there's still an active quest tracker happening in the top of the screen and a GPS, and it's like you get the point.
Yeah.
Do the quest.
Yeah.
And what a quest means is often you'll go wandering about and I believe it's a not randomly generated world in this one. I think it's actually very purposefully constructed.
Okay.
To go find either a new material, a new NPC, a new enemy that you need to fight. And there is actually ARPG elements to this, or there are.
Oh, cool.
You'll be fighting things actively, and enemies are actually a big part of this.
How big is the world? Is it huge? Is it?
Well, that's the thing. I can't really say because they've broken it up into a hub world and portals.
Oh.
But there's actually an okay reason for that.
Okay.
It's to allow them to give you a slow linear progression in your technology. So I know that sounds really annoying at first, but they let you start out with very few items, and little by little you learn new things that let you build new things, and you only get access to those new things by going to new areas. So it's sort of a Metroidvania conceit.
Okay,
You
yeah.
go to an area, unlock some things, that allows you to go to another area. Little by little you accrue new stuff, and you meet new characters, you fight new enemies.
Like Pokemon, though. Am I wrong in that or no?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. If you count the Pokemon as these are like carpentry blueprints. Sure. Yeah, I mean,
There's a good parallel there.
I mean, yeah, if what you mean
A little
is
bit.
not at all. But, yeah.
well, regardless, I've spent about 4 hours with it. I really enjoyed it so far. Aside from the bit of a slow start, I think I'll definitely be playing through the whole game. It's just going to take me a bit to get galvanized. I'll probably start over again and do a stream of it.
Yeah.
I do like the progression in that, like, you have levels in your town, and as you add new buildings and allow new NPCs to come in, you level up your town, which then allows more technology to change. So it's got a lot of that clicker heroes, like accruing iterative gameplay that is very popular amongst people like me. And I love creative games and games that let you build stuff. So it's kind of a good cross section of a lot of things I like. Plus, I always played Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior when I was a kid. I always erred towards those games instead of Final Fantasy. And Phantasy Star as well, is a little into those too. So it's got a lot of the art style you'll remember from more recent games, as well as a lot of the typical monsters. It's got your slimes and it's got your golems and all of that. So there's a lot of recognizable things, but it's got a bit of a spin to it. So it's not strictly Dragon Quest, but it's got enough that you'll feel like it's part of that universe pretty successfully. Even if it gets a little annoying at times, I liked it.
So, man, between this and your Planet Coaster experiences, you've been satisfying your creative itch quite a bit, huh?
I know. It's a lot of creative stuff lately, and it's quite fun.
Yeah.
So this is available for PS4, PS3, and Vita. I wonder if the version I have will work cross-play on my Vita as well, because that would be kind of cool.
Sweet.
The question, though, on everybody's mind is Dragon Quest
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's sister location.
Well, I haven't played Sister Location.
Between the two.
Shit, man.
Did anybody play Sister Location?
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. I didn't play it. Did you play it, Elspeth?
All
All right, that's a no, I guess.
right, no.
I've only played the first Five Nights at Freddy's anyway.
Have you played
Gee.
any of the Five Nights games?
God, for like 10 minutes, and I was like, this is boring.
That's fair. That's fair.
I couldn't handle it because not only was it poorly designed, but it was just this horrible amalgamation of here's a jump scare.
Excuse me, you don't understand the deep stories involved in every single Five Nights at Freddy's and what the Purple Man actually represents and the kids and how they died and who's actually haunted.
It was so bad. So bad. I was like, no,
Just don't get it.
I'm out.
From a game design standpoint,
They made like 10 of them.
I think they did a good job with very limited resources in making an engine for games. I don't know if it's a great game, but I think they did an okay idea anyway.
I think it should have been free, is what I think.
Listen, dude made millions of dollars on the first two. Could actually put some development time into the next three. And decided I'm just going to keep making millions off the same basic premise, and then he keeps selling an insane amount.
YouTubers keep playing them.
How did we get here? What happened?
I don't know.
All of a sudden, I don't know what the hell happened there. Dragon Quest Builders. It's available now for PS4 and Vita. There you go. I want to talk about accounting real quick. Pretty sure I was the only one that had a chance to check this out yet, right? Between those of us with the Vive.
Yeah, I have an Oculus, so...
Swear to God, this is not just another installment and make Nick feel bad about his Oculus purchase, but...
I think Nick talked about this in the main menu podcast as well.
Oh, did he?
Because everywhere I go, someone makes me feel bad about owning an Oculus.
Go get the crybaby mask, Nick, and put it on when we talk about this.
No, I'm all right.
All right, so accounting, as I mentioned, the new one from Crows, and Squanch Tendo. Squatch Tendo, notably the development team consisting of Justin Roiland and I'm gonna feel dumb for forgetting her name. Damn it! What's her name? There is another member of Squanch Tendo whom I've forgotten the name of. But accounting is a free VR experience. You can download it for free. Play it right now if you've got yourself a Vive. Just go on Steam and download it. It is, I believe they're going to actually turn this into something more. I think this is just sort of like a proof of concept for a game idea that they've got that they're going to build out more from. But if you play this...
actually a game?
Accounting is a game, yeah. It's like 20 to 30 minutes long, depending on how long you spend in the...
I saw it on the docket, and I was like, we're going to discuss accounting.
Yeah, well...
We really like
right, I can discuss accounting.
It's important.
Of what it's like to be a Twitch streamer and the amount of money we make.
Exactly,
right,
yeah.
How we...
You gotta learn how to redistribute those finances, dog. Them big Twitch bucks.
Yeah.
Now, accounting is, so they put you in and you're just in sort of like an office space to start off with, but then shit gets wild, and I won't spoil it for everybody, but it's some of the, it's hilarious, first of all. I thought that probably went without saying. It's very funny, and I was laughing a lot through the whole thing. But I really like the ideas that they are sort of like, teasing you with through the course of this entire experience, and it looks really promising for Squanch Tendo's VR future. As weird as that sounds for me to say out loud, but I like the way that they have you interact with VR. It's a very self-aware sort of experience without actually like breaking the fourth wall. It's sort of driven as this idea of going in deeper and deeper into virtual reality and trying to break free from the cycle at the same time, and it's just great. I can recommend it fully at the low price of nothing at all. Those of you with a Vive, you should check it out because it's a really good time. Questions, concerns, comments, compliments?
Did you say what it is?
Not really. I didn't want to. I don't want to spoil it too much because it is like I think it's best experienced just like the Stanley Parable. Really, it's hard to describe what it is without actually saying what it is. So it's kind of along those same lines. I just thought
I had a stroke and like missed the part where you told me what.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I was probably being very roundabout about the description, but yeah, it's fun and hilarious. And Justin, if you're out there, I love you, buddy. I wanna meet you and take you out to dinner. That's it. That's all I got. Accounting. It's VR.
As your accountant, I can't advise that.
I don't have the funds for it.
If it's a business dinner, you can write it off.
Yeah, I got an expense.
Yeah, but so could he. Anyway.
Sweet.
Is it worth you like setting up my Vive again.
Did you?
How difficult is that going to be for you? It's going to be longer than a 5-minute process?
I'm gonna plug it in and then probably like update it.
Yeah. I think
Oof, that's rough.
I'd say yes. Shockingly, I think you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say big thumbs up for you.
All right,
because it's pretty dope.
The problem for me is that like I think the longer I spend in the industry, the more I like don't care if a video game is fun, and I care more about like a video game can replicate some mundane task that in real life is not fun, but somehow you get like kind of a zen like sense of satisfaction from doing it in a digital format.
Okay.
That's why you play like fucking programming games.
That's where Shenzhen IO comes in, yeah. And you know, like Papers, Please as well has that kind of like, you know.
Usually it's had a great story though.
That's true.
What a Shenzhen IO story, like be a programmer in a fake world with a fake code.
There's a whole email thing going on in that game.
There's email things going on.
There's email things going on, Mathis.
There are a lot of emails going on.
A lot of emails going on.
Mathis?
No.
All right. That, I believe, is going to bring us into everybody's favorite weekly segment. It's Ask Roundtable.
Hooray.
Ask Roundtable is the weekly segment where Mathis gets super excited and you send your questions into roundtableyt@gmail.com. We're going to do our best to answer them. This week's question comes from Jason. Jason wants to know, what is the most significant video game release of the last 10 years? It's a big one. It's a big, juicy topic.
What came out in 06?
Yep. You got to go from 06 to today. Let's limit it even further. Let's be exact. October 21st, 2006 to today. Prior to that, off the table.
So you got like the 360 PS3 era.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Metroid Prime Hunters, Nick.
Why do you hate me? What did I do to you?
Listen, man, that's an important release because it started the downfall of the shit that would be Metroid games from then on.
I'm going to submit one right out of the gate here just to get the conversation rolling. Skyrim?
I was gonna say Skyrim.
You think Skyrim? Okay.
I was gonna say
That's in there, I think.
it was like the first 10 seconds of that question. I'm like, Skyrim.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm so biased. I've put so much time into that game that it's like it's one of my all-time favorites. But is it significant? Like, how is it? How is it contributed?
I would argue that it is not significant.
That's the thing.
Really?
It's like, I think it's a great game. I think it's very. There's a shit ton of bugs in it, and I think it's well done for a Bethesda game, which traditionally the company has a lot of bugs and stuff, and things need to be worked out.
Yeah.
But
if you're gonna say Skyrim, I think you have to be more realistic and say if you're looking for a Bethesda game that did something for a franchise, Fallout 3 is way more, I think, impactful than Skyrim.
I think it's
Fallout 3 came out in the last 10 years. Wow.
I think Skyrim is like more enduring. Like as we talked about in the Switch segment,
lasted longer, yeah.
Yeah, people are like they still really care about that game
I'm
5
still
years
finding
after
things to do after fucking 500 hours into the game total. It's ridiculous.
The Legendary Edition, of course, coming out too. It's still relevant.
Yep, it's still out there. But yeah, the Fallout series is great too. That's the thing. It's really hard to decide. For me, it's got to be a Bethesda game. I'm always on their side. But
I don't think there's any other answer other than Minecraft that I can get behind, because it's for a lot of reasons actually. Number one, it showed that there can be a path from a really early beta like Java game up to being bought by Microsoft, from like the most indie of indie up to the top. And what that can do to the entire industry is pretty significant. I don't think anyone's ever quite made that path that open before. It came up in a time that hadn't really happened to that degree.
Yeah.
And it literally is like still a phenomenon, even though it's been years now.
yeah,
It's one of the most open, moddable games that are still being played and changed and became a career for so many people on YouTube.
Yeah.
It sort of birthed an entire personality trait that people are Minecraft players now. And now they have toys of themselves in Toys R Us and Target.
Tuber heroes.
Yeah.
Superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like
I'm with Nick on that. Sorry, go ahead.
the other thing for like Minecraft, like you said, first off, it's enormous and it's had like incredible influence. Like it's even used in schools now as a teaching tool. Also, for what you mentioned, like pioneering the early access model. basically. So not only ushering that in, but also basically spawning all of the survival games that came after it. So I think that that's probably the easy number one.
I really don't think there's any arguing that Minecraft is probably one of the most, if not the most influential game in maybe the past 10 years. On a lesser degree, I mean, if you're looking at games that revitalized the genre or whatever, I would argue that, like I said, I think Fallout 3 brought back a very particular series, but Dark Souls kind of created its own genre of hardcore action RPGs again, and that came out in what, 2011?
Yeah, pretty recent, yeah.
I'd say Dark Souls is up there. I mean, it's hard to like compare it to Minecraft. I think, you know, that kind of thing. But I think Dark Souls is a really good example of another game that caused ripple effects within the industry and what people were willing to do and what people were willing to play.
Yeah.
Would you not give that credit to Demon Souls then?
Dark Souls was more widespread.
Yeah. But it wasn't for a good while. It took a good foothold, and I wonder if even part of that grassroots movement started at Demon Souls.
I think Dark Souls my argument to Dark Souls is that since it was multi-platform, it immediately had a wider audience than Demon Souls.
Yeah, that's true.
As much as Demon Souls obviously is the root of Dark Souls being predecessor.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Demon Souls was better. I also agree Dark Souls was the better of the two, but I just wondered if maybe the Origins was more influential from there.
And I'm very eager to see the lessons the world is going to learn. And I'm dead serious about this. The lessons the world is going to learn from fucking No Man's Sky over the next few years.
None.
How to be majorly disappointed in things that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
I mean,
among other
great for us. We'll have another bullet point to show to don't pre-order games about this game. Everybody knows this debacle.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to be our scapegoat for that entire contingent of folks
Dude,
now.
I'm part of that. I'm part of that horrible group that's like, I love pre-ordering things.
Yeah.
Fuck it if it's not friendly.
Dan Giesling's in there. He's like self-funded Star Citizen.
Yeah.
He is a citizen.
I'll throw another one into the cogs here. How about Portal 2007?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
In what way?
I think just the fact that it was a student group that developed it was pretty noteworthy. I think that was one of the first big instances of, not a huge company pushing something that was generally perceived as very popular, pretty successful sales-wise too, I'm pretty sure. So I think the maybe spurned the puzzle genre a little bit more. Since back in that day, it was still, I think that was still Gears of War 1 came out like a year before that, right? So it was, we were pretty thick into the heavy shooty marine trope at that point, like 06, 07, 08. So I think it stood out pretty well, just genre-wise too that year.
It made almost a shooter out of a logical puzzle game.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that at the time there were many of those around. So I guess I'm just having a hard time, putting it into the significant category as opposed to the brilliant category. Because I thought the game was incredibly creative.
Yeah.
And maybe it did give, life to more puzzle games like that in a way that you can use your environment more.
Mm-hmm.
After Portal, though, I really didn't see too many other games where I was like, this is reminiscent of Portal. I think it's honestly a game in and of itself. Like, it just kind of became its own deal.
It kind of spawned a genre of other games that wish they were Portal and aren't as good. Because there's probably 24 or more pretty popular indie games that tried to do the Portal formula and failed, or tried to put such a minor spin on it that it was transparent that that's all they were doing. So yeah, I think it definitely stands up there. I don't think it's as significant though, or as influential or big a factor in the changing of the industry as Minecraft.
Yeah, I think Minecraft may be standalone at this point. Now that we've examined the cultural impact alone, I think nothing is even close to Minecraft's influence. So
yeah, Minecraft for sure.
Yeah.
But in Portal, it did probably give rise to better writing in games like that, though, because really think about the development of Portal and then Portal 2 after it kind of brought more of like a story into what you originally thought might have been just a puzzle game or just solving things and not really seeing much come of it. I thought that it really gave way to a lot more of a comedic style that a lot of games employ now.
Yeah.
So I for me, that was one of the very first games where I was like, wow, this is really well written. It's got a character that, you know, you kind of feel connected to at some point, and I don't know. I think that was probably what helped influence a lot more games writing too.
I'll give a shout out to chat as well because they keep saying something and I agree with them. I mean, it's impossible to say League of Legends hasn't fucking decimated the landscape in a good way. I don't know why decimated is the word I use.
Just demolished hope for everyone.
League of Legends took a genre basically from a mod from Warcraft 3 and created its own actual genre within the world.
Yeah.
And I have to shout out Dota 2 as well because they took that idea and then they blew up the esports scene with it. League of Legends was doing esports, but Dota showed them how to do esports well.
Yep.
So both of them together dominate, you know, a certain subsect of PC gaming. So shout out chat. You're right. League of Legends is huge. You can't like overlook that.
Definitely true.
Definitely. I forget that League came out, you know, in the scheme of things more recently.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that it
09. League was 09.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane, the amount of growth that it's had in the few short years.
I hate that I can say, man, what came out a decade ago and how old was I? Oh, I was almost able to drink.
Elise, she near punched me in the arm for a comment I made the other day. Hey, we've been driving for 10 years. Isn't that weird? And she was just immediately disgusted. God, why do you have to say it?
Bro, then when like people our age say that, I imagine like how stupid it sounds to someone who's like 50. Yeah, when they're like I've been driving for 34 years. Like, yeah, okay, 10 years.
Wow.
Well,
I think though, like what's interesting about this question is that when you answer it, informs a lot of your answer. Because I think if we answered this question like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, we would be like hands down. Minecraft would still be in the mix for sure, but we'd be like Call of Duty 4. Like, look at it. There's so many like
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft would have qualified for sure. It depends on the context of where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Minecraft is still huge, and you know, I guess like Portal would still be in the running. But I also think that if we answered this question like 5 years ago, a game that would have been near the top and has now completely fallen off of the radar is Wii Sports. We would have been like, that game changed the game. And now everyone's like, it's kind of like a weird memory from like your adolescence that is sort of fuzzy and doesn't really fit into where the gaming is.
I think it's because that showcased potential for what everybody was grasping for, which was motion controls, and then nobody was able to do motion controls right. So
Yeah.
Right.
Man, if only Milo came out. Great.
I like what Elspeth had said about trying to separate, the brilliant entries of the last 10 years from the most significant as well, because they are two very different categories. Still, though, I wonder maybe Journey might be worthy of consideration. I think it was fairly impactful, at least, maybe changed the gaming landscape a bit.
I will never forget my experience with Journey. I'll say at least that much.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what exactly criteria you're using to try to figure this rubric out.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, when I said Minecraft, not only is the game really well liked and very playable infinitely, but it also sort of paved the way for a bunch of different elements of the industry that were actually changing at the time. So like the early access thing, it made indie games like very notable. I mean, I kind of look at it like the spearhead of the difference between the pre-Limbo Super Meat Boy days and the post that,
right?
If that makes sense. Like Minecraft was the gap bridger between those two things that made AAA and indie sort of merge a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of feel like in the not AAA great answers to this question, but in like the B answers to this question, there's a lot of stuff you can throw in from the indie scene. Like Amnesia, I think, at least on an indie context, has had like an enormous impact that we're still seeing to this day.
Careers.
Yeah, exactly.
Amnesia
and like
almost responsible for creating the biggest YouTuber on the planet.
Well, I don't know about that. I think he'd probably still be up there, but
it was
like he got the barrels from Amnesia at least.
Well, yeah.
Certainly, I think like the fact that we're still seeing games that are basically just clones of Super Meat Boy puts that in like the second tier answers. And, you know, Isaac has helped ushered in like the rise of roguelites again. So I think that, you know, stuff like that is within the indie game sphere has added a lot. Braid for like nifty puzzle platformers, maybe Limbo in the same category. And then maybe like Gone Home or Dear Esther for the kind of legitimization of walking sims. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah, there's just a lot.
Yeah. I think Minecraft is probably our overall just fits every criteria.
Covers the most possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. Because of its versatility. I mean, you can pretty much do anything with Minecraft at this point.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks, Jason. I like that question a lot. Appreciate it. If you got a question you want to send us, feel free to go over to Gmail, Hotmail, whatever you want. Send it to roundtableyt@gmail.com. And it's time for everybody's favorite segment after their favorite segment. It's Nick's Weird Game.
Whoa! Whoa!
I've actually been looking forward to this since I read.
I'm not even going to introduce to what Chad is listening to right now.
They're trying to get us a content ID match, I think.
Yeah. That's a theme song. That was made by Dylan.
I didn't know what was going on there. I thought you were like playing the MP3 all of a sudden.
I was.
Well,
Dylan.
Can you play it again? Can you play it again? I didn't hear.
Yeah, play it again.
Oh, I'll play it again. Oh, yeah. No, I got you. No problem, man. This is a Nick's Weird Game theme.
How's everybody's day?
Hey. All right. I think we're back.
Can't complain.
We're back online?
We're live again. It's going to take a few seconds, but...
All right, we got to explain to what the fuck is, other than crashing.
I have no idea what happened, honestly. I played the file again, and I tried to swap the scene back to this so we could all dance along with it, and then everything went to hell. But hey, we're back. Hi. Welcome back, folks. Sorry for that. That's our new Nick's Weird Games theme song, courtesy of Dylan from the subreddit. Thank you so much, man, for that. It's really awesome. We appreciate it. Hopefully people got the chance to hear at least most of it before we all went away, but all the same. This is Nick's Weird Games.
You play the song and then it crashes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that'll just be our outro then. Just play the song and we crash.
We just go.
Podcast ends.
It's weird.
This is Nick's Weird Games. Every single week, Nick goes to get a weird game from his collection of very many Nick's Weird Games, and he gives us some hints and clues, and we're going to try to see if we can guess which
Gotta hide chat,
game
though,
it is.
Chat will be guessing along with us.
Yep. So, Elspeth, feel free to play along as well.
Okay.
Chat will
and
do
I
so.
have to hide chat in order to do
You do
this.
have to hide chat.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because they'll get the answer very, very quickly. They always do.
They're very good at it.
You like to use Google? Cheaters?
Maybe. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Today's game is for the PS1. Came out in 1996.
Oh, shit, son.
Was developed by Konami Chicago and published by Konami.
No,
It is a 3D-esque isometric view shooter in which you pick one of four mercenaries to basically try and collect things. Various missions take place. You have to eliminate the presence of a group of humans called the Viserians from a planet. And you just follow missions to try and do that. It's a very gory game and involves a lot of special powers and things. Do you have any inklings?
Not yet.
Ape Escape.
It's not Ape Escape.
Genius.
I give up.
It's a good guess, though.
Find key cards, destroy guards, aliens, robots, activate laser bridges to complete objectives.
Sounds like every 90s game.
Yeah,
I
man.
was
Like,
that sounds ridiculously similar to
Doom
90% of games.
Wolfenstein.
What's the one that's not Snatcher, but it's kind of Snatcher-like? It's like Slither or Sneakers or something like that.
Snickers.
Konami that's doing it. What the fuck did... Konami Chicago.
Konami
I didn't even know Konami Chicago existed.
Yeah, me either.
Chat got it.
Wow.
Nick, I mean, this is before my GameStop days, because we weren't doing PS1 games back then. You might get me, man.
Well, you might have been. Some of the EBs had like a small selection in a display case for a while. Let's see if there's an objective include finding the exit to the level, assassination of an officer, escorting a defect, or other important official, retrieving an item, usually a memory chip, obtaining a certain percentage of kills in the area. One of the characters is a large alien named Quag, who has a melee attack that will kill a standard human.
That probably would have given it away had we known what it was.
I got nothing.
Quag, it doesn't ring any bells here.
All right, this is a pretty
Weird
neat
name.
one. I'll say this though, I actually played a shitload of this when I was a kid. For some reason, this game I found really good. It's called Project Overkill.
Okay.
I've never
Anybody ever heard of that?
Nothing. Yeah.
All right.
One of the rare M-rated PS1 games, yeah?
Yeah, animated violence, animated blood and gore. It's nothing but pure enjoyment, great graphics, super sound, and buckets of blood to make Overkill an instant classic. That was a quote from Ultimate Gamer magazine. Digital quality, full orchestral type music score. Full orchestral type?
Yes.
It's like when they put cheese food on like.
What does that mean?
It's not really an orchestra, Nick. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Savage, inhuman adversaries, explore
Savage.
hidden levels. Don't let your mama catch you playing this game. That's what it says. Video Games Magazine.
Don't let your mama.
Let your mama catch you.
They're the same ones with the buckets of blood comment, aren't they? They keep it real.
And then
Project
back-
Overkill is like the most generic
90s
name.
sounding.
Yeah.
It was actually really good, though.
You get
It's
key
like-
cards.
I liked it.
That's like from the next Captain America movie. Is they're gonna be like, Robert Redford's Project Overkill.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I will shout out Devlin76, who was the first in chat to nail it. So congrats. You're either great at Googling or have a great memory. Either way.
Hey,
GG.
Renegade Striker, thanks for resubbing, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate all y'all using your Twitch Prime sub still on this channel as well. It's been really helpful. We got our emotes, man. Got them all unlocked. Thank you.
For all this quality content.
Woo! Crashes 2 hours in. All right. It's Nick's Weird Games, and that's our show for today. Elspeth, where can they find you if they would like to do so?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Elspeth. That's my channel name. I cast Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find me on Twitter at Elspeth Eastman. Pretty much I'm on there all the time. So if you guys want to pop by and say hello, I'd be more than happy to see you in chat. And it was really good to be on the show today, guys. Thanks so much.
Hell yeah. Thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
for joining us.
And thank you for joining us as well, kind viewer, whether it be via audio or video. We appreciate your support, and we also appreciate the support of those who have been on patreon.com/roundtable. I want to read out those of you that have been at the $20 tier and above, which include Julian Avelsgaard, Jonathan Graham, Scotty119, General Crunk, Supermodel Man, Colby Klein, David Schmitz, Greenlight, Mavier, Warren Saltzman, Christopher Flagg, Eric Schooley, Brizzlebrit, Positron, Mythscarab, Mediocrities, Justin, Smurfette, and Logan Ray. Thank you guys so much for maintaining your support over there on Patreon. You can follow the show on Twitter at RoundtablePC. You can subscribe to our subreddit for show discussion on roundtablepodcast.reddit.com. That's where Dylan submitted his new Nick's Weird Games theme songs. And thank you, buddy, again for that. I appreciate it.
Which is great.
You can also check out the iTunes for ratings, which you can provide us. That was poorly worded, but you can do it anyway.
In which you can provide us.
And that's it. Check out the show VOD over on YouTube, and we will see you here live on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast next Friday, October 28th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Oh, outro audio's not working. Sorry. Everything went to shit, but bye. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, weird.
Yeah.